Welcome back. We're going to go ahead and build out the rocket ship today, or during this session, and I'm going to try to break it up into different sessions so that you guys can maybe just watch the ones that you want, or have some logical beginning and end between the sections. All right, and I'm going to do commentary, but if it gets obnoxious, I may go in and I might bring the volume back up to explain specific things. I may cut the volume if I'm just peacefully working on things that don't require explanation. So that's how I'm going to work going forward. This is a learning experience for me as well as you. So on the original, on the rocket, this piece right here sits in the middle. The edge of this paper is on the rough side, so what I did was I'm just kind of smoothing it with my fingers, and it kind of takes the burrs off. And the only reason there's burrs on this is because my blade was dull last time when I was cutting. There's that, and I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with this one. These will be outlined, so any little burrs aren't really going to matter. I want this one to come directly to the edge of the white. Trying to see how I did that here. That looks good there. The most important thing to me is to get that side lined up, because I don't want it to, I don't want to have it hinder the white that I have coming down. So I'm going to maybe overlap it just slightly so that it definitely goes where I want it. I think I'm going to put the black starting right here. Maybe I'll zoom in a little bit. Let's see, can I zoom here? There we go. I'll go ahead and do that. Bring this back here though, so I can see it better. All right, so what I want to do is where this triangle begins right here, that's where I want to space this. I'm going to put this one on first because this one is the one that doesn't require a whole lot of fiddling. So I'm just going to grab one of my paintbrushes. I had some glue there, and I'm just going to paint some glue on thinly. I don't want so much that it's glopping over the sides when I press this down. But adding more glue actually allows you a little bit more time to place it. Just to let you know that, because it creates like a barrier, you know, it's a slippery sort of underlayment. Okay, there's that. Now what I'm going to do is I want to match all the bottoms. So like this bottom will go here because I want to line them all up straight across there. There. I just wanted to kind of, you know, get a sense of where I wanted to put it. I may put this one a little bit thicker just because I want it to be able to slide a little bit. I don't want it to catch and grab instantly. again, I'm going to just base this off. I'm going to say, okay, the top looks good. That looks like it's good along there. I want that to be parallel. And when I come down here, it does look like it's lining up properly on the bottom. You don't have to get super exact with this. Nobody is going to notice except for yourself. A tip that I might say is that it's always good to buy new paintbrushes if your paintbrushes get, if the tips start to bend over. I have a huge issue with, I go through paintbrushes like crazy. And they're a lot easier to work with, and it makes a lot more sense when there's a fine tip. I mean, just like when you're painting, you want a nice fine tip on there. All right, so I want to kind of try to find the top there, and I want to say, okay, well, it's going to work down through there, and then we're gonna make sure that we kind of have a similar distance on that white there, and we're gonna call that good. Press it down and hold it. And look, we've got that part done. Now at the very top of these black strips, we have a thin gray strip, and that should be cut to fit exactly across there, and it is. This was one of my boo-boos last night. I put the wrong gray piece on it because I was rushing and not paying attention. The goal here is to get it, you know, fairly even. This little gap right here is not going to be seen because we're going to have cardstock around all this. It's going to be lined and it's not going to matter. So these little itty bitty gaps that are like a ½ millimeter or, you know, like a third of a millimeter aren't going to matter. All right, so the next piece of the rocket, we have to move up here for it, is this, which is a big piece of gray with black, the black thing underneath of it. So I believe I just got to measure this here. Oops, I have a little tab there. There we go, perfect. I just want to kind of see which orientation fits, and it's got to go this way. Okay, because I need to measure, I need it that width. And if I go this way, it's actually a little bit too wide. This is going to come up to what point here? Right here. Just below, I don't know if you see that little notch right there. Let me see if I can go down here and show you that. You see that little notch right there? We got to go just underneath of that, just like that. So making sure I have the right orientation, I'm just going to go here and paint the back of this. I got a little globby with the glue there. A couple things about globby glue. Not only does it spew out around the edges when you press it too hard, it also, let me just get this back up into a curve. It also warps the paper. See how my paper is now curled? That's because I put a lot of extra glue on it. I'm just going to use that little lip as a guide, and we're going to put it right there. Press it down and hold it. This part right here has some burring on the edge there, and it goes down here like that. So we're just going to go ahead and paint this up really quick. The most important thing here is that they remain parallel to one another. I don't want them getting off all willy-nilly with each other, and I want them lined up to the sides as best they can. And that works right there. Press and hold, and I've got a little tiny bit of glue right there, but we'll just pluck that off. And there's a burr there, but that will be hidden when we put the cardstock on the outside. The next part is this right here, and this is kind of like a double part. I made triangle, triangle, and a square. So we're looking for a rectangle the size of the barrel of this. Let's test it out. And that's the one we need right there. So this right here, that's going to go here. I'm going to dry fit this first. I'm a huge advocate of dry fitting. And then stay. All right, I guess I need to look at my stuff before I started just kind of trying to force into place. It looks as though these actually are cut to fit in here perfectly. See, I was thinking when I did it, but I wasn't thinking when I was trying to fit to place it. So a small piece like this, I typically will just daub it in glue as opposed to trying to paint it. Make sure you keep the correct orientation. And I just kind of tap it, and then I just kind of slide it off. So it's coated in glue, but it's not super gunky. There we go. I also should tell you a couple of things about how I did this layout here. The lettering and the flowers are all attached to the base layer, to the background layer, but the rocket is actually one on top of that layer. So these are all sliced out and flat. You really can't see it, but this is up one layer right here. In order for me to get it up one layer out here where I have where I just have background again, I had to slice off just the tip here. So the tip is actually doubled here so that it's the right height, and same on the back end here. The section from here down is actually doubled to get it to the same height. That was one of the big pains last night of figuring out the design for this, to get it cut in the right amount of layers without it getting bulky. I'm going to go ahead and touch that there. And we're just going to stick this in here. It's like a puzzle. There. I want it nice and flat. There we go. All right, and I'm going to see, and this is going to go right here. Just like that. I could actually have made it one solid piece in my design software, but I think at that point I was just tired of doing it, and I had sliced and diced and cut and measured and all that so many times that I was like, ugh, I'm not doing it again. So I just left it like this, and I thought, well, it will give visual interest because it will be like another component there, or it'll give it depth. There's that. Now let's see what we got left. I don't know if you can see this or not, but over here I have like a little, just a hint of a blemish on the background. This happens. I don't know how it happens, but it just does. So I'm going to make sure I put a leaf or some other feature right there to hide that when it's done. Okay. All right, now for the rocket tip. What do we got here? So this is what it looks like here. We've got the little notched piece, and then another piece here. Where's my notched piece? That's weird. we're just going to pretend that I have a notched piece. I'll probably have to skip this, but it looks like this piece goes right there. So I'll put this one in next, and then I'll pause the video and I'll go find the notch piece that I appear to be missing. When I created this file, the biggest challenge was all the different step outs, you know. There it is right there. We got this. All right, and the notched piece that we have, like, it's slightly indented here, and it looks to me as though the notched piece will start right about here. So I'm going to go ahead and paint on this. The only paper that I highly recommend being as easy with glue as possible is black. Black is just such a miserable color to get any glue on. It doesn't matter whether you get the most infinitesimally small amounts of of glue on black, you end up with a gross smudge or an ugly section. Looks like these may have been from some other rockets that I had created last night. Oh, whoops, where did this go? I have a piece. Oh, they're here. I missed that piece there. I'm going to dip this because it's just too tiny to bother to paint. We're going to come in here. There we go. So yeah, black is miserable when it comes to any sort of glue spots. Now I'm supposed to have 2 of those, but I only see 1. I may have to look around for the other. All right, so we're going to go down here. I'm just going to peek. Aha, I found it in here. Okay, so the next piece, these 3 little, I have no idea what they are. A lot of times I'll look up the parts of things when I create them, just so that I know if someone asks me, oh, what's that? I can be like, oh, that's this. I feel like it's a flower, I'll be like, oh, that's the stamen. But I did not look it up for this. These are just going to glue on underneath here. Like that. And then this glues on. And we're just going to repeat this. Make sure they're centered. You can hear my little dog go out in the hall. He's cool. He says, Mama's creating and I'm terrified of her studio, so I will sit out here. He's afraid of my studio because last week or the week before he walked in here to say hi to me, and a stack of shipping boxes fell down. And they were just broken down cardboard boxes, but he was just, oh, he was horrified. Okay. So these right here go on either side. And it looks to me that they sit up about level with that right there. So I'm just going to kind of gauge that like that, and then we're going to come across here like that. And then I'm going to put it down slightly so that it doesn't interfere with this rose. I'm going to leave just a tiny little space there. So it's not going to be, you know, 100% accurate to the rocket structure, but it's definitely, you know, you know what the rocket is, or the person who ordered this is going to know. It's close enough to relay the point. And there we go there. I may not even fill these ones in. I may just leave them like that. Perfect. So there we got the whole rocket we got the whole rocket assembled. I'm going to stop this video here, and I'm going to come back in and I'm going to start outlining for the next step.